After running all kinds of trading rules, for a while, you start to notice something strange. A rule that suddenly stopped working randomly starts working again, out of nowhere, and after it's been dead for a while, it just kicks back into life. Now, trend following versus range trading, that part makes sense. But when the same type of rule does this, that's when I go, wait, what? Say a rule is built to work only when a trend is in play. Normally you'd ask, how do I even know a trend is happening? Trendline direction, higher highs and higher lows, volatility, sure, the usual toolkit. Most people screen for a trend using exactly that kind of filter, but that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about a completely different rule, quietly telling you, hey, this rule works right now. Maybe it's easier to say it this way. One rule sets the condition, another rule fires. The more you experiment, the more of these hidden connections you start to collect. If you've ever built a systematic trading strategy, you know exactly what I mean. But most traders never even notice this happening. And it's not just technical patterns either. Sometimes it comes straight from human behavior. Signals like this can be incredibly useful for spotting market tops and bottoms. Here's a classic one. Someone who's never mentioned trading in their life suddenly calls you up. Hey, isn't the market kind of high right now? 9 times out of 10, that's the top. Same thing happens in stocks all the time. The moment a major headline runs an all-time high story on the front page, that's usually the top 2. Some guy reads the news, feels like a genius, throws in a market order. The second trading opens, then heads to work, feeling proud. And that's exactly the moment the big players slam the price down like clockwork. Once you notice a pattern like this, the move is simple. Go test it, track the data, run the numbers. I've backtested a ton of these myself. Here's one of my favorites. There's an old saying on Wall Street, when your barber, your Uber driver, or your neighbor starts giving you stock tips, that's the top. Whenever I see headlines saying everyday retail traders are piling into the same trade, I fade it. I take the other side. I tested it. I traded it live. I've only lost once. There are certain analysts and commentators whose calls are almost always wrong. So I tracked them, what they predicted, and what actually happened after. And I didn't stop there. I started tracking my own behavior too. What's my win rate when I feel a certain way before a trade? What happens when I trade in a certain mood? How many good trades did I miss because I fell asleep? How many because I overslept? What do all my worst, most impulsive decisions have in common? Honestly, once you start looking, there's an endless list of things you can track. And once you run the numbers on all of it, not just charts and indicators, you start seeing the market completely differently, things you'd never catch by staring at. Technical setups alone suddenly become obvious.